Welcome to another edition of the Husker Fans of Montana podcast. I'm Ricky J here with BB.
Hey, Ricky.
And Karl.
Hello, gentlemen.
Karl.
How you gentlemen doing?
Doing good.
Not bad.
Right?
It's a Tuesday night.
Yeah.
What can I say?
Yeah.
Hey.
Well, as you guys know, unfortunately, we've tried to work through some technical difficulties with Jeff in Omaha, but that did not work out. So he had to bail this week, and
He just hates us. He doesn't want to be
hates
with
us.
us. He hates us.
He's so tired. He's probably doing his own podcast.
He is.
I noticed
Probably
Karl's
is.
bottle's half empty while you were working on this.
Yeah, like that 20-minute delay. Yeah.
You guys are helping me here.
Karl, what do we got for your whiskey corner?
Tonight we have a little bit different flavor. We have Crown Royal Blackberry. Mix it with a little bit of lemonade. Kind of a nice little...
Pretty sweet.
It is. It's a nice nightcap. Remember we had the mint julep bourbon not too long ago?
That was good.
Yeah, that's good, but this is also it's just a nice little nightcap one.
Okay.
So I like it. It's very good.
Very tasty. I'm chasing it with the Lewis and Clark Lager, Mexican lager. Very, very, very tasty beer.
And,
Get some.
And I got a Pompeii's Pilsner here from our official beer sponsor.
Official bill sponsor, Lewis and Clark Brewing
Lewis and
Company.
Clark Brewing. Yep.
Yep. All right, gentlemen. Well, we're going to jump into the news. And as you see, let me get this full screen here. Nebraska won their first road game, beating Purdue 28-10. Cornerback Tommy Hill, with a foot injury, should return this week, but offensive lineman Turner Cochran remains out with his hamstring injury. Rutgers head coach Greg Schiano brings the undefeated Scarlet Knights to Lincoln on Saturday, October 5 at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time on Fox Sports 1. Okay, this last Sunday, the EA Sports simulated game of Nebraska versus I left it as Purdue. I'm firing my checker.
Yeah.
That's it. Versus Rutgers went live. Nebraska, the resulting in Nebraska 21, Rutgers 14. So it's a pretty actually entertaining little game to watch. But already on the channels, that position by position comparison, it's kind of interesting to see how the EA Sports analysts looked at the two teams and our opponent's team. So it's kind of interesting to jump through there and take a look at it. So Rutgers is 4-0 with wins against Howard 44-7, Akron 49-17, Virginia Tech 26-23, and Washington 21-18. So they've had some tough battles at their last two games,
and not really top notch. I mean, Virginia Tech is down, Washington is down.
It'll be interesting to see.
It'll be interesting.
It'll be interesting to see. I think we're favored. I think the bookkeeper bookies got us, about a touchdown favorite?
Yeah.
Really?
That's
By
what I
7?
saw.
Really?
Yeah,
That much, huh?
I was surprised.
Yep.
So here is Rule just on some of our news items, just a little over 2 minutes.
Yeah, Micah was suspended last game. He's reinstituted this week. That was kind of middle of the week that happened, so it wasn't something we were. I met with you guys. I wasn't anticipating that, to be quite honest with you. Stephon Thompson has a sprained foot, and he ran well today, so we're anticipating him practicing tomorrow. So I'll know more about that. And then Tommy went out like the NFL, like 2 hours before the game and worked out, and just didn't quite feel like he could go on it. Now he ran today and felt good, so I would anticipate Tommy having a chance to play this week. I think that'll be another probably, be quite honest, game time decision. It's all the plantar fascia is all pain threshold, and it's not like can you tough it out. I mean, I've seen guys miss a long time with it, so he's doing everything he can to play. So we'll see.
Is Michael ready to roll? Can he be back in the lineup?
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't put him. I wouldn't start him. I mean, he was a backup before this happened, right? Like like when he came out of the Colorado game, he was Toski was put ahead of him. So he's got. I love Micah. I'm working with him to make him the best he can be. You guys talk a lot about him, but he's a backup player for us.
Coach, this is not asking you to criticize the refs, but what's the process that you guys go to as a staff to maybe send in certain plays weekly? Do you do that type of thing, and what's the end result of that process?
Yeah, you send them in. You send in, hey, is this a question? Is that a question? Questions you have. They'll send you back whether they agree or disagree. There's like a weekly tape that they send you that has points of emphasis from the week before. So, like, I'm saying from the whole league, so you can kind of hear what's being said to the officials. And then if it's something that rises to a higher level, right, maybe you get on the phone with somebody and say, hey, so like for me, because I got a penalty, because I injected myself into the game, I made a call to figure out, what I did right or wrong. Yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like, hey, you send your plays in, you get them back, they tell you what they agree or disagree with, and you're trying to figure out, as much as anything, as the rules change, okay, can we do this? Can we not do this? Can we hit what used to be a great play is now a penalty sometimes, right? So can we do this? Can we not do that?
So the whole Micah situation is kind of interesting.
Any clarity on that? What?
Yeah.
I don't think, they're being very secretive about it, or very close, keeping them real tight to vest as to what all is going on. But obviously there's some
sort of disciplinary issue.
Boy.
Attitude.
And a new
something.
one.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's unfortunate because it sounds like he has great potential as an offensive lineman, like NFL potential. But obviously, Rule is setting down some standards. And great job, gentlemen, with holding your comments until after the coach was finished.
And now
I couldn't help but cough, but that was
that's all right. We're going to start a longer game review.
Can we talk?
We can talk during it.
Good.
So we're going to go ahead and get it started because it's about 16 minutes. So, but it's quite a bit of the game.
You could have 16 minutes of penalties being called here. Oh, this is the first half.
Right.
We did move the ball. We just, between the penalties and self-inflicted nonsense, we couldn't score.
Love those plays.
Yeah, this was a nice one.
And I don't know if it's because Micah is out, but we had a hard time moving it between the tackles, running between the tackles. So we were doing a lot of end arounds like that.
Shot to the confidence of this group as they make the road trip here to Purdue.
No,
and I
good
do
solid
want
contact.
to say, as this plays out, the first half was. Everyone knows I'm not a huge Satterfield fan, needless to say. But for the first time, the second half, it felt like we made some adjustments. We didn't just come out and do the same thing.
Right.
So that felt good. That was nice.
No, previous Nebraska teams would have found a way to lose this game. So that's the one hopeful sign.
Yeah. Emmett had a good game.
He sure did.
I think Emmett's stock went up.
Harburg takes the snap. Penalty markers fly instantaneously, and there is movement on the offense.
And as bad as the penalties were that we complained against us, Purdue, my gosh, the numbers were insane. How many penalties? Pass interference calls on them were just crazy.
But they were good pass interference calls.
Yeah,
they got to turn around, man.
Yeah,
they just had really poor execution.
Yeah.
Muscle it away from Sayer.
Hand it off, Reggie Love, and Love with some space in front of him takes it out across midfield into Nebraska territory. Another give. Here's Love. Love straight up the gut.
We saw the missed field goal. It gets worse.
Yeah.
The Nebraska defense, they wanted to focus on aggressive tackling this week. Didn't do it on that play.
Karl. Blitz is picked up. Delivers.
Let's get a favorable play.
Karl with time. Now running out of it, and Karl is brought.
Yeah, we hadn't had much of that lately, so that was nice to see.
Attempted a field goal. Purdue.
Nice
Oh
to
my
see
God.
them struggle too.
Jesus.
No good. So they still have not hit a field goal.
Wow.
It is hilarious.
Fire that up. Raiola, quick pass outside, complete with room to run, plenty of space to run.
See, we were moving the ball. It was just
right.
we weren't doing anything
Yeah.
with it. Yeah.
Field concepts, this offense.
I'm surprised that didn't get called back for blocking the back.
No, it did.
Oh, it did. That
Yeah.
one did? Okay.
Yeah, I don't know why they put that on their highlight reel when it got called back,
Yeah.
but it did.
Well, so many plays were called back, you had to include some.
That's true.
Yes. Yeah.
You got to see this pass interference later with. Yeah, this is
That's
it
the
right
worst.
here.
They
Yeah,
won't
that's
show it there. That tight end, our tight end, never touched him.
Unbelievable.
Never touched him.
Unbelievable.
Coach Rule will comment about it in his post
Oh,
game.
what did he do? Like
Now,
on a screen?
They
like
called it a
like
pick,
in
but
a-
he did,
yeah,
he
a
never
pick.
touched him. He dodged out of the way. Never made contact with him.
yeah, that was such a bad call. And I think what Rule did on that, he challenged that
Right.
with really no hope. But I think he just wanted them to see how bad a call it was
Right.
in the first place.
Here goes Johnson. Johnson with a couple of moves. Penalty marker fly.
You can just assume there's
There are
a
a lot
flag
of
on every-
penalties in this
oh,
game.
my Lord, yes.
Scans looking deep downfield. Didn't get all
See, that's a legit. They got called several times
Yeah.
for that, but that's legit. That's horrible technique. You can't do that.
No, you have to look back at the ball.
Yeah.
Automatic. First down.
Yep.
Big time penalty on the play.
back to the air. Raiola looking deep again.
Whoa.
That's another one.
Receiver is on the ground. Penalty marker is 0 for 3 thus far on third down. Raiola pressure in his face, steps up and delivers, and that pass is caught. It's brought in by Jacory.
So here we go.
Here's Buddy's first tackle.
Purdue got a hand on it, and Purdue scoops it up. It's Nyland Green, and this crowd is loving it.
Not get an explosive play.
Jeez. Sloppy,
that-
sloppy, sloppy.
Yeah, that snap bounced.
Starting to get this Purdue offense going on the prior drive. Rush is 4. Karl.
Come on.
Step up and threw it, and he's able to escape. Now Karl with his eyes downfield has a complete
Now this gets called back
This
too.
comes back,
It gets
yeah.
called
There
back.
had to be holding on that one.
But
Oh.
Forward pass.
Illegal for
No, and the illegal. They reviewed that, and the illegal forward pass was found not to be correct, but it was also holding.
Yeah.
And so you saw the holding
Yep.
correctly, Karl.
Yeah.
He's looking for his big tight end. That's Thomas Madoni.
Just took it away, went to the left, found the completion.
Raiola back to the air, back to his tight end. It's
Raiola has so much poise in the pocket. I'm blown away by him.
Yeah. A lot of composure.
Give it straight up the middle. It's Ramir and Johnson. As Johnson is going to be a yard shy.
We can't let the environment get to us.
Raiola rushes just 3, taking his time.
Oh.
that one wasn't a.
Like, if there's anything, that play in particular, he could have run for the first down.
Yeah.
But he's just not, and I don't blame him.
They're probably
but-
telling him not to.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't want him running.
Right. But that's the difference between facing a running quarterback and not.
That might change as he gets more seasoned. They let him make those decisions.
To a group of Nebraska defenders.
He's big guy. So
All-time Purdue rushing list.
0 for 4 on third down, trying to get themselves going, and that is how you do it. Max Clare with the reception.
And those third downs is going to be huge this week coming up. When we do get them in the third down,
Yeah.
we've got to be able to stop them on third.
Third and 18. What else is new? Hudson Card scans the defense. Completion over the middle will not be enough for the first down. And they were challenging him to get his best football out there. Starting to see it today. Raiola.
this guy is so fast.
Yeah, he's quick.
Barney with the speed, with the space, 2 to play in this first half. A first and 10 for Raiola. And Raiola drops one
Nice.
over the
Nice
Beautiful,
drop in.
beautiful
Nice
pass.
touch on that pass.
Well, about how far you can throw, but how you can control the football.
Raiola was surprised by the snap that came a little early. He said, I know what to do with it.
He tore them up when they were not in man to man. When they were in zone, he just picked it apart.
If you let him.
You got to. I don't know that our blocking on the runs was very good the first half, but pass protection was pretty good.
It was,
throughout.
yeah.
On Purdue. Amir Johnson
Strong hit.
is stuffed. Yanni Karloftis still a little upset about
Contact.
on second and 10. Raiola towards the end zone.
Oh, boy, that was still nice touch on that. That's a tough pass.
Yeah.
On alert on the backside.
Raiola on the roll, buying more time. Now flings it
Good sense. He felt
Yeah.
that pressure coming from behind.
We got to be able to make these field goals.
Of the field is locked.
Whoa, horrible snap.
Taking the air, he
Now here's a better tackle by Buddy.
and Purdue scoops it up. So a couple of
Yeah, you don't want at this point in the game or shortly. I think
back into the face
I think Buddy's maybe leading the team
in tackles.
Yeah.
So this truly was this game a tale of two halves. At halftime, it was 0-0.
Wow.
Nebraska scored on the next 3 drives they had in the second half. The first one was a TD pass to Banks, and then a TD run 1 yard by Dowdell, and then a speed sweep by Barney for a TD. And then on Purdue's 4th drive, Nebraska intercepted it. Bullock intercepted it and did a pick 6.
Yeah.
So truly was an amazing and much more
Boy, it wasn't
comforting second half.
Well, you and I were talking throughout the first half, and it was not a happy conversation. Things got a lot better.
No, I thought we were looking, first half, I thought we were looking at having to look in the mirror and say, wow, we are the worst team in the Big Ten.
I laughed because I didn't get any of your messages until I was like halfway through Yellowstone, and then like 25 of them showed up, and it was like, oh, this isn't looking good. This isn't looking good at all.
Overload.
They're not happy.
There he gets a personal foul for
Good
pulling his
call.
legs
I
up like
like
that.
honestly.
It was, I agree.
Purdue penalty for 120 yards. So despite the
That's a nice run. That's a nice blocking.
Yeah.
It's good scheme.
at running back, Dowdell with the carry, and he is going to push the
We did start running the ball too. Second half, I was impressed with our offense
Nice
more.
move. Wow. He's got some
No, he-
shiftiness to him.
Yeah, he ran
Heaven's
well.
sakes, yeah.
I think the combinations of the 3 or 4 backs that we're putting in there are pretty good.
I'm still a fan of having more than one in the backfield.
Yeah.
In certain of these circumstances.
And it is batted up into the air and then eventually broke
Out right now. See him playing the nickelback position.
Raiola.
That's a
Beautiful
nice
pass.
touch right there.
Banks goes back to the ball, straight back for Banks, and yes, sir.
Great, but you see Fedoni right there almost jumped to try to get the football.
Buddy has to make an effort on every snap
Yeah.
to bring it in. That center
Yeah.
needs to do a better job.
Hey, and of course, folks who are familiar with the program, I will say that, Coach Rule, to his credit, kind of cleaned that up. I think a lot of people were not sure what the problem was, but this week he made it pretty clear that
Yeah, he
snaps
did.
were the problem.
First and 20. Raiola setting up a short
No.
pass right over the middle, and it's complete to his tailback. That's Emmett.
Yeah,
But
Jack.
more importantly, no matter who's to blame, that function on the football team has got to be fixed. That has to
Yeah.
be able to happen.
It has to be.
It's inexcusable to from 40 and in. We got to be making them much more than we're missing them.
I like watching Johnson run. He's kind of fun to watch.
Emmett,
Yeah.
yeah, I do too.
Complete down to the 5.
He never goes down easy.
No.
He's always fighting.
No one gets a solid hit on him.
Right.
I think this play coming up was interesting to me. I mean, because they brought in our freshman. Nope, I guess not.
Fake it to him.
Maybe it's the
That's
next
a
play.
bounce pass.
Didn't like what he saw and just got to the zone.
There it is.
Third goal, trying to go up and over the
Our freshman from Ainsworth, trying to get him to. He's the, I think, state hurdles, one of the or high
Now
jump
see the
champ.
formation here. For this is what I like to see.
Yeah,
See what a difference that makes
fullback
when you
makes,
go
yeah.
to yes. And why we don't do that more often?
Well, that's just the power eye, isn't it?
It is.
well, yeah, but
Yeah.
it's also nice to put in a real fullback versus using your tight end.
Yes, but yeah,
Yeah.
Anyone.
Using a fullback. That's
3 yards, 5:30.
when we're in these short yardage situations, I really think when you bring that extra back in, it's
Yeah.
huge.
yeah.
Nebraska showing pressure, and they are bringing pressure. Karl reads it. And to the outside, he finds Jerron Tibbs.
He stepped up
And you're right. There's nothing fancy about it. You're not fooling anybody, but
And a little push.
you've got that extra blocker. So when you get a linebacker comes up, you've got somebody there that can take him out.
NFL experience right off the rip. This is Emmett Johnson. And
Emmett's just
God,
that
he's-
was nice.
That's a nice
Another-
run. He's got some nice shifty.
another
just to-
flag.
God.
Raiola setting up a screen with plenty of space.
It's like
Go big
block
boy.
him.
There you go. There you go.
You don't want to tangle with a lineman.
Just get him. This I like.
Nice.
I like
He's so
that
fast.
play.
He's so fast.
Boy, they took out that one guy. Took out two guys.
Well,
two
and it
defenders.
was different. It was something.
Yeah.
It wasn't the same.
No.
Now, what I would say is this week somebody needs to have a conversation with the kid because I'm shocked this one didn't get brought back for taunting. As he's going in, he's making signals to the defender, and the way the flags were flying,
Right. There's no. This was beautiful.
John
Bullock he's playing really
he's
well.
at a real high level right now.
Amazing season. And one thing, he was like number 4 on the depth chart in previous position. Rule came in, saw him, and said, "Hey, let's try him at linebacker." And now we see what he's doing.
Yeah, he's had 2 or 3 great games this season.
They were hanging in there. Karl just going to keep it himself and try to run for it, and he will pick up about 9 going.
Really, this is about where it would end. There's a junk touchdown at the end.
Right. I mean, yeah, we're really, we can. I think they'll end it up pretty quick here, but yeah, they do get a touchdown.
We've got some subs and whatnot by this point.
Yeah,
No flags.
The officials are still, their arms.
they're
have
still in the
got to
game.
be tight.
They're still in the game.
Got to be tight. I like our coach gets it unsportsmanlike. We've got
We're throwing his headset
everybody's
down.
in the act.
Yeah, like this is crap.
I was waiting for like the student section or the band to get a flag or some kind of.
So there's their kind of gimme touchdown.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, you got a foot in.
oh yeah, no, it was legit. And then we'll just see. PAT.
That train horn's something.
Yeah, it's like your
That's
cannon.
loud.
It's like your cannon,
yeah,
Karl.
it's Boilermaker. Yeah, it's like the cannon at U of M.
Then we'll see Harburg come in and do a couple runs because I appreciate what he did last season. We're going to watch him.
Hey, we may,
Never know.
say never, right?
Nice run there.
And good block.
Good
too.
read. Good read to pop out to the
I
outside.
still would like to see him get a couple of series in the game.
Yeah. So that 28-10, Nebraska has a wonderful second half and wins that thing. So here is Coach Rule on the post game. What are we at? Just a little less than 11 minutes. But we'll listen to him here.
Credit to Purdue. We knew they'd come to compete after they've had 2 tough weeks. Got back home, playing at home. Changed up their defense, put 4 back at the edge. I hope he's okay. I think he's one of the best players we'll play against this year. I have so much respect for the way he plays, and so it looked like he got banged up. So I'm not sure what that was. It was a close game in the fourth quarter. The narrative is always we can't win close games. It was a close game. We won it. So it just turned it didn't look like a close game at the end, but we made the plays in the fourth quarter to win the game, and proud of the guys for that.
What did you think of your team's response in the last quarter and a half of that game? Not only the response, but how it played.
Well, I thought the defense, was terrific throughout. But the offense punted twice. They just up and down the field, just a couple of crucial penalties hurt us, and then obviously if you're able to make some, so you're down inside the 35. I think, I don't know how many times we crossed the 35-yard line. Those are, 3, I think 1 missed and 2 bad snap that led to blocked field goals, right, which were unfortunate. I love the fact that they didn't flinch. They didn't flinch. At halftime, I told them this is exactly where I felt like our team needed to be. To come off the heartbreak of last week, a game that nothing went right in terms of like one play goes right, we might win that game last week. To come back, I don't know what the narrative, I don't know what's been like around here before that, but a lot of times teams, they come off that heartbreak and they don't play great the next week. That I've been a part of. So I thought for our team to bounce back, Tommy tried to go, he couldn't go. Guys are down, guys step up. We played a lot of guys today. things not go exactly right. I thought it was exactly what we needed, to be quite honest. Like, I'm glad it ended up 28-10, but that was a game we had to fight for, and guys had to make plays, and had some tough calls go against us in the first half, and the guys. In fact, if anything, they were telling me to keep my composure. So appreciate those guys.
What kind of lift did Emmett give you in the second half?
Yeah, I think Emmett made some big time plays, making some guys miss, and then after we had the hold, the block in the back of the hold, and then I got the 15-yarder. It comes out on the screen, and he's pushing the O-lineman to get him going forward. And so I thought, really, if you talk about crucial plays, it's that, and then it's the fourth down off tackle run by at the goal line, to go for it on fourth down. So just proud of those guys. Not that Ja'Cory obviously gave us a real lift on offense with some of the speed sweeps and the reverses. And, people are really, when he's out there, people are defending us differently because of his speed and his explosiveness.
Just the overall execution on offense in the second half, when you got across onto their side of the field, what keyed it being so much different after the first 30?
It was just third downs in the first half. We were 0 for 5 in the first half on third downs, and two of them we ran it to get it to get fourth and short. Because we were planning on going for it. The one we went to fourth and short and we false started. Okay, the second one I can't remember what happened. We didn't get it right, so we just said, hey, you know what? Let's throw it for 2 downs. Let's give Dylan 2 chances. Moving forward. And again, if it's 9-0 at the half, you're kind of disappointed in your red zone offense, but it's not quite. I mean, that was what it was, and so we just made the shift at halftime. Like, all right, we're going to go for it. And I thought the play were in the red zone where Dylan found Jamal. He showed patience. He knew what was there, and made a play.
How would you characterize the mood at halftime, given that where you guys were at?
Very, very locked in. Very locked in. I think our guys last week felt a lot of pressure to win, and not in a bad way. That's not a soft thing. Like, they just know people are counting on them to win, and I think this week they said, forget it. Let's just go compete. Let's just go play, and. I thought guys wanted to play, and then they came out. You think about it, right? They came out and they went down the field and scored and kicked a field goal. And but I thought our guys went right back down there. And so, about everything that could go wrong went wrong in the first half. Emmett's touchdown gets called back. We didn't touch the guy. We didn't touch him. We did not touch him. So it wasn't about whether he was behind the line or not. We run at the guy and we avoid him, so we didn't touch him. And so they know that they executed that play and it gets called back. And so obviously that some guys could be frustrated, when they know, man, we can't do anything right. But I thought the guys responded, and I was really proud. So that, again, that's what I said to them at halftime. Is this is exactly the type of game we need. We needed to go out there and win the game at the very end of the game. And again, that's about halfway through the fourth quarter. That game was won.
Was there a specific distance that you felt good about sending John Cole out at? What did you see on those missing blocks?
Yeah, the first one he missed, right? It just missed. He's about 50-50 from the 15-yard line, but he's also about 50-50 from the 45-yard line. He's a young developing kicker who's got a big leg and had a great week of practice, and he just missed that first one. The second two are just bad snaps. Those balls are in the ground, right? So you can't put those on them. And those weren't like blocks per se where we're not protecting. Those were bad snaps. The first one, we had one snapper in, then we made the change, went to the other snapper. It's a bad snap. So all of those guys, and as I said down the stretch, man, they got to come out of their head. They got to start playing from right here with passion and belief in themselves. I know it sounds corny, but it's not. And even the extra points at the end, all of a sudden we had good snaps. And so we are. It might not be for everybody, but we are just a growing team. We're just growing. All right. So people can spend all their time trying to think what we're not. I choose to see what we are. We're getting a little bit better in different areas. We went on the road after a devastating performance. A devastating loss last week, and we found a way to win. And I couldn't be prouder. It wasn't the best football. We have a lot to fix, but I'm proud of the heart of that team.
It was just to be clear, one of the snaps was one guy and the other was the other guy.
I believe so. Yeah. If I'm wrong, sometimes you guys are more right than me, but we made the switch. I thought the first was Flaggy and the second one was Watucky. That's okay. I thought so. Yeah.
Matt, what about your running? What were your thoughts on how they stepped up and slowed down what Purdue was trying to do?
Yeah, I thought the boys came out to play. There was a little bit like that one drive. It was a little bit of leaky first down, so they were in a 2nd and 5 and allowing them to continue to play. I thought what was really great on defense today was, when Tommy couldn't quite go, he came up, we thought he was going to be able to go. He warmed up. We thought maybe he could go and just still not right quite there yet. So, all right, we turned to Sierra. Sierra gets banged up. Jeremiah goes in. We're out there at times in crucial downs. Now we got Jeremiah out there. We got Mario Buford out there. And I thought they and played pretty well. Willis McGahee that's a big play, so there's a lot of young players contributing in that. But that allows you because Tony can trust those guys in the back and allows them to play the run and put guys up there in the box. And I thought we didn't give up any big ones. I think Maccabee's a heck of a player. That number 45 is a heck of a player, and that's a well-coached O-line. They run outside zone as well as anybody. 250 yards or whatever it was, 240, whatever, last 260 last week. So for us, I don't know what they finished with rushing, but I thought our guys did pretty well. 50. So I thought our guys did pretty well.
It's not just this game. There's been quite a few penalties in a lot of big games, really. From your thought process, is there a conversation that they need to have, the league needs to have with teams about blocking on the perimeter or covering the receivers, or and then what did they tell you at the end about doing that?
Yeah, I got a flag. I threw my headset. And I was on the white, so I was under the impression on the white I could throw my headset. He said the referee said I looked at him, so he knew I was upset. But obviously he didn't throw the flag, so I was just mad, So I'm not here to complain about officials. I'll turn them in. I'll get the responses on Monday or on Sunday. I think we had a tough go of it last week, and here's what I know. Someone's going to have to start to fight for Nebraska. All right, so I'm here to fight for Nebraska, and so Troy does. Our AD will fight for Nebraska in that way. But I wanted the fellows to see me out there fighting for them today, and so I think that's my third penalty ever. So I got one in the NFL because I was in the white and the guy ran me over. I think I got one when we got a blindside block at Oklahoma State. There's not been many, right? So I don't speak disrespectfully to the officials, all that, but I did throw my headset, and but I thought I was okay because I was in the white. With that being said, it's a penalty. He called it a penalty, and Emmett went ahead and made me right. So I felt bad. I don't want to affect the game in that regard, but. Penalties are penalties. I just, we're not an undisciplined team. We're doing things right. We're doing high level things, and we're getting, when I get called, I'm going to stand up for it. But again, that's a hard job. I'm not here to. That's a hard job. I can't imagine how hard that is, and I respect the men who do it. So.
Maybe you're on the pregame scene with the Oklahoma drill where you were running your team kind of through a live drill. What was your thought? I mean, you were out there leading them in front of everybody, kind of hitting full contact hitting. What was the thought of that?
No thought.
Is that something you have done before?
Yeah, well, but we did it way back when. But I was just excited to go. Today was about us. Today was about us coming out to compete, and I wanted to see the guys come out and fly around and compete. So I just called a couple guys out, and they were ready for it.
One of those guys was last week at Trent. He's the guy that was the blocker on that fourth down. I don't know if you've seen that play, but he basically took out their two best defenders.
Yeah, did he really? That's awesome. And we ran that play in the middle of the week, and he hit Marquise Buford. Marquise made the tackle, good on good, and we showed it in front of the whole team. So that makes me so happy if that's true, because Barrett's one of those kids. I mean, I wish I could expound, but when I expound, sometimes it turns into all these other narratives. So I'll just say this: he's one of those guys who there's this, as they grow, they go from trying to do everything right to trying to kick someone's tail in the right way, and along the way they have to block out all the noise of everyone telling them what they're doing wrong, and so Barrett's someone who tries to do everything right, and hopefully it sounds like, and that's a day one training camp play. Like we tried Carter over the top. We try, I'm just saying, in all seriousness, if you look at the level of creativity, and again, we're not perfect yet. We're so young and things are different. No one's asked me about Gunner. I love that. None of you guys asked me about Gunner. We went with our third string left tackle on the road against Purdue and played with a third string left tackle. I'm fired up for him because I didn't notice him, and I'm not saying that in a negative way towards you guys. I'm waiting. I didn't notice him. I just kind of was out there. I never said hey, Sat, chip him. So I'm proud of the young guys, right? We handed the ball off to Carter Nelson on the 1 yard line to go over the top. It didn't quite go in, but we're just trying to trust in the guys, and you're going to wake up someday, and all those young guys are going to be out there. Ja'Cory, they're flying around, and so I'm fired up about that. But I think Gunner played pretty well, and that's a big storyline because when they moved forward to an edge rusher. When they did that in pregame, I was like, damn, that's a good move by them. Sorry, Mitch.
Any update on Bazooka? His status not?
No, it's not by him today. I'll talk about Monday. Yeah, he's not off the team, but he's not here today.
Okay, before we move on, go ahead with your comment. But before we move on, we'll watch one more video. But what do you have on Coach Rule?
No, I just he's passionate. I really didn't have anything to say about it. No, he was, he was fired up.
Oh yeah, definitely.
He's tapping the table.
Oh yeah. And so that was right after the game, and then this is from Monday's press conference, and it's on our Helena hometown boy, Brian Buschini.
Oh.
It was a heck of a day for Brian Buschini. 5 touchbacks, in kind of hurricane-ish type conditions. I wasn't sure if he'd get the touch, but I think 4 or 5 touchbacks, right? An amazing tackle that lit the team up. 2 tackles on. He was able to field both those snaps, which were really bad snaps, get him down, then made both tackles on those plays. Pooch, the first one, should have been down at the 2, right? So he made an excellent pooch and then put one at the 10, one at the 4. So Buschini, I thought, was magnificent. And Bullock, another guy like that. I always try to talk to our team about the unsung heroes, the guys that no one's noticing. I thought those guys, Alex was one of those guys.
So I did not catch his tackle on the kickoff. So when we're done here, if you we'll see. We'll just leave the space. If you send me that video and I can put it in the final product of he obviously did a kickoff.
On the kickoff, it was, he just plants the guy on his ass.
Yeah, so we'll work at being able to put that video on here too.
We're going to go out on the grass after this and reenact it.
Reenact it. Hell yeah.
He's going to tackle you because you're not going to be hurt because you've had a little more of that. I noticed the bottle. Sometimes I look at it as a video's playing and I just watch the bottle go down.
Have we reached? Have we ever gone through a complete one?
No, but before we move on to our opponent, Rutgers, Karl, why don't you tell us a little bit about Montana football and what's going on?
Oh, well, okay. First win in the Inferno. Really, I mean that's
the Inferno
with the orange field,
the nasty ass field that they have. So Montana went out to Eastern Washington. They have the ugliest field in the entire country.
Or did you say it was pink?
It is pink. I mean, I think they painted it.
I saw it. It looked red.
They painted it, but last year it was pink.
Okay.
They did repaint it. I think the sun fades it. Anyway, they went out. They played well. That's a tough place to play. They haven't had good luck out there. They won 52-49. Had a backup quarterback. Their Ayod was injured, and Fife came in, threw 5 touchdown passes. Was the Big Sky Player of the week. They did okay. They did well. They won a tough game out in Cheney. So I'll take it. This week Weber State.
Ayot, what's the injury?
I don't know. I think it was a concussion because I was at that game that he got hurt, and Ayot got it. It was on a touchdown run, but he banged his head off the ground pretty hard. I think he's probably in concussion protocol, but they haven't said a lot about it.
All right.
So they're good. We're good.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Awesome. Excellent. Well, moving on to Nebraska's opponent, Rutgers, who comes to Lincoln October 5th, this Saturday at 2 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, and it'll be aired on Fox Sports 1. So make sure you get that, gentlemen.
Yeah, I got that one. I got.
What we're going to do is play just a couple minutes of their last game, their win against Washington. They are 4-0. They're looking pretty darn good. And so we're going to take a look at that.
Alec Manis does a nice job of protecting the ball down here, and his legs could
now,
come into play.
their, I would say, best player is their halfback, Kyle. Larry is right there. Manange.
How do you
say that? Manange. Yeah.
He's not gay.
Manange. But ESPN had rated him prior to the season in their game at a 90. So, and I think he's lived up to that. Yeah. He's very, very, very good.
This program's on the rise for sure.
Shiano's a good coach.
Yeah, they have a couple decently rated wide receivers too, in that Miller and Dremel at an 84 and an 83. So, but their biggest strength is definitely definitely their running back.
How about 2 colleges that couldn't be farther apart? Seattle, Washington, and somewhere in New Jersey.
Right. Exactly.
They're in the same conference.
Oh, yeah, I know. For heaven's sakes. Half these kids, you say Washington, and they think it's down the road.
Right, Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
State of Washington.
Look at this. Is a hard run. Now, that's not him. That's not Manange. That's our other running back. But
well, we're going to have to stop that.
Yeah.
And it'll be a test.
Wow.
You don't.
Good balance.
No matter how good runner you are, you don't get that without a line that's making
exactly.
For you.
Wow.
Nope.
Now you'll notice in this, they have a problem with making field goals also.
Brennan Carroll and for Jed Fish. Fade pattern, open. It's Boston. It's touchdown. Wide open, caught. The tight end, Kaleki Latu. His career long 47.
Shinkapotamus.
And that's a no.
That's a no.
And, of course,
So
Rutgers.
they came down to it.
Right down that close, yep.
You know, yeah. They're 4-0, but who have they beat?
It's
Virginia Tech and
Tech
Washington.
Washington is down
And
this
then
year.
and then their first two games
Washington
were
lost to
tune-up
Washington
games.
State. I mean, come on.
Easy.
They
my
did.
friend.
They did.
Easy.
They did. I mean, they went for the national championship to losing to Washington State. I mean, come on.
Oh, like that.
Come on.
Oh, that
come
is
on. Okay, you're just.
So here we have 49 seconds of Coach Rule about a little bit about. He doesn't talk a lot about the game.
Pretty familiar with Greg Schiano, right?
Yeah.
What was your experiences with him when you were a player and he was an assistant on that team, and just your relationship over however many years with him, and what you respect about him?
I respect. He's there's lots of coaches that are regarded as like the best coaches in college football. Not many could do what he's done. Okay. Speaking as a guy who won at Temple, and I mean, you go win at Rutgers. Before he got there, not many people had won there, and he won there at a high level, left and came back, and he's winning there again now at a high level. He's a great football coach. Point blank. He's just a great football coach. Great builder. He's elevated that entire university. I have the utmost respect for him. When he speaks, I listen. I just have a lot of respect for him.
Like E.F. Hutton from the old commercial. So what was more informative, actually, I felt, was actually listening to their coach, Greg Schiano, on his press conference. Now, this is a little long, but we'll go ahead and listen to it, and he speaks a little more like apples to apples and or, some game stuff.
Yep.
Guys, thanks for coming out. Little chance to recruit on Saturday, and then back at it, getting ready for Nebraska. Very good football team. Matt Rule, excellent coach. Known Matt for a long time, and he does a great job. He's certainly got that thing going in the right direction, and now it's being seen in the record. They got really good players. They're well coached. Offensively, Raiola, the quarterback, the freshman, is incredibly talented. You don't usually see a freshman that's capable of kind of doing the things he's doing right now. They got three really big wideouts: Nair, Banks, and Bonner. I mean, each one's bigger than the next. I mean, they're gigantic, very physical group. They've drawn a lot of DPIs, as you can imagine, because of their size and the way they kind of move DBs around. The tight end, I mess up the way you say it, Fedoni. He is a really good player. I think he is one of the better ones we'll see this year. And then the offensive line is big and physical. So offensively, they're definitely going to be a huge challenge. Defensively, I think their defensive line is stout. Robinson, 9, and then 0 and 1. I think it's Butler and I don't know if I'll say this right, Hutmaker. Those three guys, as physical as you're going to see. The linebackers, we kind of know one of them. He's an Irvington kid that we recruited, really good player in Bear. And then I think the secondary is really well coached. I mean, they play together. They play. You can see they know what they're doing with the scheme. So I think their defense is one of the better ones in America, and they certainly understand what their defense coordinator wants them to do. Tony's a heck of a coach, and I think that. It's a well-coached team. It's a talented team, and we're going to play them in a very, very tough place to play. So to say our plate is full would be an understatement, but that's the Big Ten. That's why I love it. So I'll try to answer anything I can.
You mentioned Dylan Raiola and what he's able to do as a freshman. Can you kind of expand on that? I mean, what kind of stands out when you watch the film that kind of is surprising, given that he's a true freshman?
Well, the command that he has of their offense is, I would say is good for any level, but for a freshman is unheard of. And he's a very gifted athlete. He's big, he's mobile, he can throw on the move, he can throw from the pocket. There's not much this guy can't do, but that's why he was such a highly recruited quarterback, right? He's got all the tools.
Defensively, are you more encouraged about the way your team played in the red zone against Washington, or are you more concerned about some of the big plays you guys gave up that helped them set up in the red zone?
Well, we've been playing pretty good red zone defense here now for last season and then the beginning of this season. There's other areas that we're not playing real good defense, and we have to get it corrected. Tackling is one of them. We haven't tackled well. And I wouldn't say it was just last week. I would say overall I don't think we've tackled well. So we need to make sure, number one, that gets fixed. We need to make sure we're all on the same page in everything we're doing.
Specifically, back to defense, no sacks or tackles for loss against Washington, and Rutgers has dropped to 115th and 126th nationally in those two categories. What's your concern level about getting pressure and playing behind the line of scrimmage?
Yeah, I mean, we had our opportunities. We didn't get them, so we have to, certainly a concern. You're not going to win consistently playing defense that way. As a matter of fact, it's rare when you do.
Ethan, I know he didn't necessarily have big numbers on Friday night, but his command of the offense, the control, and the ability to step up and make some big throws at big times, how does that change the dynamic of the offense?
Yeah, I think it changes it a lot. You look at when you're 7 for 15 on third down, a lot of that is on the shoulders of your quarterback and your receivers and your offensive line, but the guy who's handling the footballs is the quarterback. And Ethan did a very good job, answering after the block kick, throwing the fade for a touchdown. So those are all plays that we need him to make for us to win, and that's why he's here, and he's doing a good job.
Tackling issue. I mean, what kind of caused that? Because obviously in past years that really hasn't been as much of an issue. I guess what kind of leads to that slipping?
You know what? There's been some different guys in the lineup. We got some guys coming back into the lineup. Attention to detail, a lot of things. Angles of entry on the tackle. There's a whole bunch of things. But it doesn't matter. We need to get them. We need to get them corrected, and the end result is you have to drop. Now the reality is Friday night they had a really hard guy to tackle, but that's the Big Ten. We're going to see that this week. They do running back by committee, but it's a pretty darn good committee. So we better get it fixed, or we're going to have some issues. And then the receivers, we better tackle them. I mean, they're all 220 pounds. It's not like tackling your normal 190-pound, 200-pound receiver.
You guys have won 2 one-score games this season. Nebraska has a very long streak of losing one-score games in Big Ten play. Do you feel confident about your team pulling through in these tight games that I imagine not only this weekend, but the rest of the Big Ten schedule will provide?
Yeah, every game's independent of the others. I do believe experience is good. Don't get me wrong. And experience under pressure, no doubt, any kind of experience that you can call upon that was positive is a good one. But I think when you get in that next one, it's totally about that opponent, that game. So, and we know, it's going to be a challenge for sure. They're a really good team.
Just to follow up, I think in the locker room in Virginia Tech, there was a clip of you saying you saw something in your team's eyes when they went for that big drive to take the game, the win. Do you see something in that team? Maybe it is the experience you speak about, but do you see something in this team that in those moments is different than maybe teams you had in the past?
I've had a lot of teams that have that look. But since we've come back, that was a pretty different look that I received, as I mentioned, at the Virginia Tech game. So that's a positive. The Big Ten is the most challenging league in the country, and it requires you to get better every week. If you don't, you'll get left in the dust. So really my main focus is just getting our team as improved as we can by Saturday. Will it be enough? I don't know, but I can't control that. What I can control is my staff and I challenging and presenting opportunities for them to improve, and hopefully they take advantage of those opportunities, because that's what being in it together is all about. We have a job, they have a job. Together we both do our jobs. It's going to be an improved product on Saturday.
To go back to Raiola, when you're preparing for a quarterback that doesn't have a lot of experience as a freshman, does it change your approach or your attack at all versus a quarterback like last week with Bo Rogers, who's been around the block a few times?
It might, if you didn't see what he's done so far. He does not look fazed by disguised coverages. He does not look fazed by he gets hit and pops up and is fine. So I think this guy's mature beyond his years. He's grown up in a football family. I think he's kind of made to do this.
You mentioned the size of Nebraska's receivers. What's your message to your secondary cornerbacks, playing guys bigger, more physical? And Eric Rogers got shaken up there at the end. Is he going to be good to go in this circumstance?
Yeah, I'm not. It's a good try, but I'm not going to talk about the availability report before the game. You'll get all that stuff. But what I talk to the DBs about all the time, but it's really emphasized more, is you need to be really precise with your angles of entry, your coverage mechanics, because if you're at all out of position, these guys have such large catch radiuses, and they can use their body to box you out. So you're really going to have to slip the hip and really be playing good football to be able to make a play on the ball.
Just going back to Eric, obviously he's been pretty productive this season after stepping into the bigger role following Max leaving. I guess what have you seen from him and kind of what he's been able to do?
Who are we talking about?
Eric Rogers.
Eric Rogers. Yeah, I think Eric, he played a lot last year, so I don't think this is new to him. He was in a 3-man rotation. I think we got to get more guys playing at corner. I think that's an issue is the corners are probably taking too many snaps right now. I like to have a 3-man rotation going, and I think Bo Masco and Ashadi Salam need to play more. I think they're good players, so we'll probably try to get them involved more. And again, when you're playing against big wideouts like that, it tires you out when they lean on you. So we're going to have to be aware of that. And it's going to be really hot Saturday too. Temperatures are predicted in the 80s. The way the stadium is set up, they flipped sidelines when Matt got back there, so the sun will be beating on us. So we got a lot of things that we're up against.
Just want to ask about Bo Masco, and I know last year it took him a while to be able to get on the field and be able to play for you, but what have you seen from him, coach's son, and just kind of the maturity that he has?
Yeah, Bo's a football player, right? He's not our prototype size corner, but he plays bigger than he is. He's long and he plays bigger than he is, which is the only reason we took him, because he is a football player. He's tough, he competes, fearless. So I think he's got a chance to be a good one. You just got to keep developing. Again, I'll say it again, like this league, you need to improve every week, and I don't mean like smidges. You need to make big improvement every week. Otherwise, you get into the middle and the back of the season. You're just not good enough to win, because everybody else in this league, it's really well coached league. I was talking to a guy today. He said, "Man, there's no rest in that league, right? Every team is well coached. Every team's talented." I said, "Yeah, that's why I love it. That's why we wanted to be in the Big Ten. It's where we belong." And I've said it before. It's that perfect intersection of elite football and elite academics. And I'll close with that. Our kids now are a few weeks into the semester, a month into the semester, and that's really where college football, I know they're getting paid and all this stuff with NIL and all that. They're still college students, and they have a lot to do, and now it's starting to pile up on them. Papers, tests are beginning. So it's all those things as a coach you need to be aware of and make sure your guys are handling that well. So it's as you get into this Big Ten season, it's a challenge. But like I said, one that we love being a part of.
He said quite a bit there. I like him. He's a good coach.
He is.
I guess we'll just start with Brian and go around the room. We'll give we'll hold off on our predictions, and we'll just give our thoughts on the upcoming match and how we think the teams are going to match up. BB, what do you got?
I think it'll be an interesting matchup. And you're right. This is an extremely well-coached team and a great coach and great guy. To me, there's a lot of questions of which Cornhusker team shows up. Is it the first half team or the second half team? I think if we show up the way we played the second half, I think we're going to do okay. We need to complete our drives. We need to get points. Special teams needs to step up. Just all aspects of coaching, playing. I think our play selection was better in the second half. So really, it's going to be a challenge. It'll be a test. I think it's one that we can win, but we're not going to win this if we don't do the fundamental stuff. If we don't tackle, we don't block. If we don't complete our drives like we did in the first half of that Purdue game, it'll be bad.
Karl, what are your thoughts?
We got to clean things up for sure. I think the penalties got to be cleaned up. Schiano's team is well coached. They're disciplined. They're not going to make mistakes. We can't make mistakes like we do with the penalties. Special teams definitely has to clean up stuff. Right. I think it's going to be a really close game. So if we make too many mistakes, that could be the difference. So
yeah,
cleaner.
I agree. I think it's going to be a very close game. I think they are. I agree with you. Very well coached. They're going to come to Lincoln. They're 4-0. They're 4-0 for a reason, and they're going to come to town, I'm sure, expecting to win. Purdue last week they're a team in disarray, and the first half, it didn't look like we were going to beat them.
Mm-hmm.
And so I'm very concerned, and also Nebraska doesn't seem to, at least historically in the past few years, get the bump from playing at home. They don't seem to defend that home field that much, even with the crowd there. I mean, the crowd is amazing. Obviously, the sellouts and obviously the games this season have been extremely loud, but it doesn't seem like we automatically get that edge to win from playing at home. So I'm very concerned about this week. I do like the way they came out in the second half of the Purdue game, and previous Nebraska teams, I think, would have potentially faltered, and we would have just had a heartbreak on our hands. Mm-hmm. And they didn't. They came out and dominated and took care of business. But I'm certainly concerned about this week. But I do have Jeff's prediction. He texted in, so we'll start with his prediction. He said,
I'm sorry. Before we get to that, how about last week? I'm just wondering who might have
really.
Let's talk about last week.
I'm just curious who might have.
Oh, let's see.
Prevailed.
That is a good. I stand corrected, as we learned in drill sergeant school to say, I stand corrected.
Sir.
Or as you were.
Yes.
So
Sergeant.
as you were, Brian. Well, wait a minute. Before we get to this, that reminds me. How did Ben's team do? Do we have an update?
We do. Actually just this afternoon. Dialed in, ended up winning the championship of the flag football at the Coast Guard Training Academy in Yorktown. Yeah,
we're gonna need a photo. Get a photo from Ben for the next
photo. Sure.
For the we need
that'd be awesome.
The championship photo.
I'll try to take care of that.
Maybe get a little more info on the game, and we can remind me. We'll do a special segment. That's awesome. Congratulations to
Dialed in
Coast Guard championship team. All right, so. Last week, the game, Karl had Nebraska 28, Purdue 17. He was off by 7. Jeff had Nebraska 38, Purdue 17. He was off by, or 38, Purdue 17, off by 17. I had Nebraska 34, Purdue 21, also off by 17. Our sim had Nebraska 23, Purdue 18, off by 15. And Brian came in at Nebraska 28 and Purdue 14. He was off by 4. He hit the Nebraska score, nailed it, and just missed Purdue by 4. They scored 10, so it was 28-10 was the actual score. And so Brian is our winner of the week.
Beautiful.
Now, to clarify, you also, obviously, we've all been predicting. The first part of this is who wins. So
sure.
if you predict, if you're wrong on the win or loss, then you're out, obviously, for the but I just wanted to clarify, because all along we've all been supporting Nebraska. So Brian, that's 2 wins for you.
It is. I'm just.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about that right now?
I feel good. Yeah, there's work to be done. We got to clean up some things, but yeah, I feel like we're
at this point in the season. You feel good?
Yeah, I feel okay.
All right. Well, Karl, and you were very close. How's it feel to be first loser? Again.
I'm used to it. I'm the best loser of the place.
I think we'll get, I'll add to the T-shirt order.
Karl, your glass is empty down there.
My glass is empty, yes.
Yeah, we better wrap this up soon. Yeah. So now we're moving on to the predictions of this coming week against Rutgers. Jeff picks that Nebraska will win 31, Rutgers 20.
Wow. Very optimistic.
Very.
Yeah.
And he might be right. That's the thing. It's just so hard to know which team shows up. If we had 2 good halves of football, which have we had that this year so far? Seems like we've had first halves and no seconds, and this game was, no first half.
So what do you think of Brian with your prediction, or you can explain why?
Well, I think
you can
it's
elaborate.
Be, I do think it's going to be a closer game, but again, these are just hard games to predict. I do think Nebraska comes out on top. My initial thought was like a 3-point, but I'm going to go 21-17 Nebraska.
Got you down.
Yeah.
Karl.
17-14.
Who wins?
Nebraska. Only because of the home field. And, boy, that could just be the opposite if we keep making mistakes.
Yeah.
I'll go 17-14 Nebraska.
Well, I think the last game, again, previous Husker teams probably would have fallen. So the fact that they came back in the second half and took care of business, that gives me hope that I'm going to be, I hope and pray that I'm wrong with this prediction that I'm about to give. But our inability to kick field goals, I think, is going to come back and haunt us in this game. Purdue's 4-0 for Purdue. Rutgers is 4-0 for a reason. And they've got an amazing running back. And we have some challenges, which I hope we meet. Again, I definitely hope I'm wrong. But I think that Nebraska will not get a whole field bump. We will miss too many field goals when we need them. And Nebraska will lose this game. Nebraska 21, Rutgers 24.
Interesting. Okay.
So,
well, that's why they play the game. We'll find out in a few days.
Yeah, I definitely want to be wrong. There's no doubt.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I'm in fact, this evening I'll be engaged in a heated debate with another Husker fan on Twitter. But it feels to me like we're so close in the kicking game. I know that sounds, people think I'm nuts, I'm crazy, all that. I think if we can get the snaps figured out, which normally when you have a snapper that's not getting it done, it normally shows up in the punt snap, the long snap.
Right.
Not the, so I think it's a problem that can be fixed. I'm not saying it will be, but it can be. I think there's some mental stuff going on there.
I think Rule will figure it out.
It's certainly mental when it comes to Hull and his kicking, because that ball bounces. We saw the snaps. You can, that's. I'm sure that's throwing the kicker off. Whether Buddy gets the ball down or not, which he's done a pretty damn good job of getting the ball down. There's only one of those kicks I think Hull was a little bit flat with, but so. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm not writing them out, and that's in fact what this conversation is are we dead in the water with special teams? I'm saying no, we're not. I think we can turn this around. I hope we do. I'm not saying we'll make every field goal, but I think we can improve certainly from where we're at. We're making at least the ones we should make. I'm not saying we're going to hit the 50-yarders, but the ones that are clearly makeable, I think we can improve on that quite a bit.
Yeah, I'm not from the show me state, but show me. The Kool-Aid
Right.
doesn't taste that sweet anymore from special teams. So they got to do it. I mean, they look horrible. They look amateurish. They look ridiculous. So they got to get it done. If they're doing well in practice and they're falling apart in a game, that's inexcusable.
Nope.
So
No, I
they got to
agree
fix
with
it.
you.
And once they get it fixed, then we can have some faith in them. But, they've failed game after game to fix this thing.
I'm just sharing my opinion that it can be. I'm not saying it will be.
Oh,
but
sure.
I'm thinking it can be.
Well, it will at some point, whether that means new personnel.
I guarantee
don't
it's
know.
been a focus of practice this week.
Heaven's sakes, yes.
Well, but that's my problem. I think it has been. They brought in a specialist since August just to work on these issues. So it's not like it's just getting addressed now. That's my point. Yeah. It's been getting addressed, and they've been failing.
Yeah.
And they continue to fail. So until they get it right, I don't know how we can just keep having this pie in the sky faith that they can fix
agree.
it. So get it done. Get out there and fucking get it done. God damn it. Just do your job. I mean, you got one job. You're right. And so get it done.
There you go.
But Anyway, I'll get off that. They're a good young man. I love the team. I hope I'm
from
wrong.
Missouri, but show me.
Show me. Show me. I mean, come on. We have hope and dreams all this time. And that, I'll tell you what, that first half, this last game, that first half was ridiculous.
That was bad.
That Purdue is the worst team in the Big Ten. And we were fighting them for that title. And that is ridiculous. This team is too talented for that. And so to say, oh, well, we had a second half. That's great. But we better put a full game together. We're not going to beat our challenges just continue to increase. And if we can't get it together and show it on the field and start beating teams we should beat this team. We're a 7-point favorite. We were a favorite to Illinois at home. And what do? We lost. And so they're not proving that they can take that next step yet and win those games that are a little bit tougher that we should be winning. And so they need to prove that and show that. They went on the road and beat the worst team in the Big Ten. I mean, that's where we're at. I mean, we got to pull the Kool-Aid, pull the cover. I mean, that's what we're doing right now. Now, hopefully we beat a better Colorado team than we think, because Colorado now is 4-1. So maybe that's a better win than what we thought. So maybe we'll have better things to come. But right now, again, that first half against the worst team in the Big Ten was ridiculous. And they better do better. So I feel like I've said more than enough.
No, you're right.
Ricky's got his knickers in a wad.
Yeah, more. I'm like sand in the giant.
Well, hopefully some of that fire you're showing is showing up in their practices this week.
Yeah,
too.
and I've been a Husker fan. Literally one of my earliest memories are watching Nebraska football. And I have bled Husker red all my entire life. So I love this team, and I love every player on it. But it is time for them to take the next step. We've got a quarterback that looks like a pro. And so everyone else better step up at that level of preparation and get it done. And anyway, that's where I'm at. It's time they showed the fan base what they can do, what we've been hoping for all this time.
Right.
And it's time.
Right.
But gentlemen, I've had a wonderful time. Sorry we missed Jeff. We'll get that technical start.
We'll figure it out.
We'll get that figured out. And we ran a little later tonight. So thank you, Karl, for sticking it out.
Sure.
Always a pleasure, Karl.
Oh, of course.
Always a pleasure. So gentlemen, cheers. Have a wonderful week.
Go Big Red.
Go Big Red.